shit.
Can we get Bobby off? Can we get Bobby out of here? Because they're not gonna.
Why he felt? Hold on. Why he felt it was okay for him to sneak me? Why he felt it was okay for him to sneak me?
Yeah, okay, now let him.
Listen, I was just shocked, nigga. Like,
That's Bobby in the track. Then you better get that curl. Oh.
And you getting up like, the hell, I wasn't saying like that. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. He tried to, I know, but Cash, he just swung on me, punching on my.
Hi y'all, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Tishay. Yes, in today's video we're gonna be talking or delving right into certain things I feel like we need to discuss on the third part of the reunion of Bobby I Love You PURR. Without wasting much time, if you're new to my channel, please go ahead to smash the subscribe button, okay? And then let's just head on to the gossip room. So first thing I want us to talk about is Hot Wheels. Like, let's talk about how pressed Hot Wheels was like all through the show. I would like to actually conclude that what Jason Lee said about Hot Wheels is extremely precise. Earlier on, if you had watched my previous video, Jason Lee talked about Hot Wheels being pressed about being put in a wheelchair and basically just using that aggression or sadness to act out and basically put it on all the other cast members. I want to believe that actually is true because I did see a lot of aggression from Hot Wheels throughout this reunion show that I didn't I was just trying to wrap my head around what exactly was pissing him off. Yeah, it did seem like he had a lot to say, but then at the same time it was the aggression for me. Like, he was just too aggressive for somebody who is on a wheelchair. And I don't even mean to come out disrespectful or, like I'm looking down on him or anything. But a lot of people had a lot to say. Some didn't even say that much because they were just so calm and collected. People like Soul, Tracks and the rest. But for, Hot Wheels, like, he was way too aggressive. Like, let's talk about that. I understand that he definitely had a lot to say. I also understand that he probably might have been pissed off at the fact that Bobby probably wasn't giving him enough room to say exactly what he wanted to say. But I don't think that was enough for him to be acting out and spazzing out the way he was. Like, I saw him not one or not twice, in 2-3 different occasions, roll over to Devion to I don't know, probably what he felt he wanted to do. It's not even just Devion. He also had his moments with Rolling Ray where he was very aggressive and basically on some type of I really don't even know what to call it. But then he also had the same moments with Bobby Lights. I'm like, he even had a moment with Jason Lee, I must say. So I was a little bit worried and disturbed for him. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section about Hot Wheels. Do you think he genuinely was aggressive because he wasn't given the chance to speak, or he just has inbuilt aggression? Because at this point I like to think option B is the answer. Since we are talking about my pain points, let's go ahead to discuss Dingaling. Like, Dingaling was the second most aggressive person in the room. Like, no cap. Dingaling was so eager to throw punches. In the first part, we saw him, run across the room to get his way with I've forgotten his name, but I'll put him on the screen. And then we now saw him throw a punch at Devion, and also he threw a punch at Bobby. Now, according to Dingaling, the reason he threw a punch at Devion was because Hot Wheels had told him that Devion had punched him earlier as well. Now, when Devion actually responded to this, he said that the reason he punched Hot Wheels was because Hot Wheels actually smacked him with his phone. So basically, what happened, or his punch to Hot Wheels, was more like a retaliation. So I did feel some type of way towards or about dingling, especially for jumping straight into conclusion and not like taking the time to listen to both parties. Like, because bro, I even see that like nobody saw that punch coming. Also, I mean, let's talk about dingling punching Bobby. Like, that wasn't necessary if you ask me. Like, I saw dingling. Okay, how it happened was, first of all, there was some kind of like, obviously Bobby was passing out, basically this was after he had read out the text messages and basically like, called out Jameson for, cheating and all of that, cheating and, having Davion as his side piece while still extorting both of them at the same time. Yes, I'm still coming to that tea. But what we are gonna dwell on right now is the fact that, in this very particular moment, Bobby spazzed out and, kind of like got emotional, cried, and walked out of the set. And whilst he was walking out of the set, Dingling started throwing tantrums and all of that. And when Bobby came back to actually respond, at some point in time, Bobby wasn't even like, aggressively responding. And then the next thing we saw was Dingling throwing a punch at Bobby, which was very uncalled for. Like, in Dingling's response, he said that the reason he punched Bobby was because Bobby was, basically fake and all of that, calling them out when he was messing around on the first day. So apparently Bobby had walked around on the first day of the show. Yes, it was disclosed by Jameson, it was disclosed by Dingling, and it was also disclosed by Bobby himself during his live. But the point now is, was that punch necessary? Did you feel like that was enough for Dingling to have actually punched Bobby? Because I mean, this is the second punch that we didn't actually see coming. Now let's talk about Davion. The reason why I want to talk about Davion is because Jason Lee actually threw a very, very important hardline question that really got me thinking and considering a lot. So basically, after Davion was given the opportunity to speak his truth, Davion basically said that Jameson had been flirting with him right from day one, and basically Jameson had told him that he was definitely for him, that the only reason why he was on the show was just to mess around and play with Bobby, basically giving him false hope. Anyway, so this question was thrown out by Jason Lee. Basically what Jason Lee asked was, are you a victim or a perpetrator? That was a real, like, a good ass question if you ask me. And that question was very, very necessary because if we're actually judging and looking at things critically, Davion was messy. Davion was doing all the messy ass things, because I don't see how you come into a house and say you're a handler, you are accepted on a show as a handler, and then you end up handling more than you are supposed to. So basically that question was actually very needed, and of course his response to that question was that he was neither of both. And I like to think that is definitely a lie. He basically didn't want to obviously paint himself in a bad image. He came on the show obviously to assist Bobby in spilling whatever tea they had on Jameson. Now the truth is, Davion, if we are being honest, in fact, if we are being honest, all three parties, Davion, Bobby, and Jameson, had dirty hands. We're all messy. We're not that righteous. But then the fact that Davion felt like it was okay for him to come on the show to say whatever truth he felt he had was a little bit delusional, because like I said, is he or was he a victim or a perpetrator? And if we're going to answer that question rightly, we already know that answer is definitely option B. because I don't see how you are comfortable. So the point is, the reason why Devion even felt the need to come on this show to like speak his truth was because obviously Jameson ended up playing both Devion and Bobby, and at the same time extorted them both. So that was why he felt like he, was in the same category as Bobby. But the truth is, whatever, regardless of what happened, Devion actually had no right to come on the show to talk about shit because he was messy. Even though by now this is like old news, I still feel like it's still worth being discussed, which is, Bobby messing around first night of the show. Now, for someone who says he's out looking for love, that was actually like not even the right move, because I mean, you come or assemble a group of guys and you claim you are looking for love, and then on the first night of the so-called show you end up in your fellow cast member, like the show hasn't even started. So like, I think I kind of talked on this in my previous video. So the real question is, does Bobby really have the right to cuss out Jameson for cheating on him and treating him the way he did, especially when he on the first night of the show? He Andre on the first night of the show. And yes, some people might say, after all, it was just the first night of the show, he didn't mess around after that. I mean, who are we to say? We don't know what happens behind the closed doors. But still yet, let me know what you think in the comment section about that. Do you think that Bobby was, cleared of cheating, or do you think that Bobby was cleared since whatever he did was just on the first night of the show? And do you think that Jameson had every right to around, especially because Bobby had already cheated or around on the first night of the show? Let me know what you think. So the last thing I want us to talk about, which is basically the last part of the reunion show, is the makeups. Now, I was really intrigued and also happy, but although I still felt some type of way, but I was intrigued to find that after all the fights that had broken out, majority, I like to think that 90% of the persons that actually threw punches at each other kind of made up. So it started with Bobby finally dishing out an apology to Dingaling for not being there for him, and then it kind of like I think in between Bobby dishing out that apology, we saw Jameson crying and started talking about how he didn't want all of this to happen, how he didn't want all of what happened that night, that evening, to happen, right? Basically just he got emotional crying and all of that, and they kind of like, I would like to think they kind of made up. So like there were a lot of apologies that went round the room. I saw Jameson apologize to Bobby apologized to what's his name, Dingaling. I saw Crouton apologize to Dimitri. In fact, not necessarily, but he gave an indirect apology, but I think at some point I even saw them like sit together. So basically, let me know what you think. I think even in that moment, Dingaling almost apologized to Bobby. Jason Lee kind of like urged Dingaling to apologize to Bobby, but that didn't really work out. But still yet, I was, like I said, very intrigued at the apologies. I mean, I didn't see those apologies coming, especially with everything that had happened, the punches that had been thrown and all of that. Also, let me know what you think about Jameson getting emotional and all of that. In my first video I had mentioned that I saw whatever relationship that existed between Bobby and Jameson to be very dysfunctional and toxic, and at the same time it did seem like they still wanted each other, but probably there was so much pain and betrayal and whatever that, you know, as at that particular point in time made them act the way or react towards each other the way they did. But you know, out of all the apologies that were dished during this last part of the show, I would like to say I felt some of them were kind of fake. And if I am going to pick, I would say the apology that came from Jameson to Bobby didn't seem all that genuine. It did seem to me that Jameson knew what he was losing if he was to lose Bobby. So I think as at that point in time, he probably, you know, yeah, he did all what he did to probably look tough and act tough and whatever. Probably there was love, or probably there wasn't. Probably he just wanted to like continue extorting Bobby. But like, yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think that in that moment after Jameson apologized to Bobby, do you think that that apology was genuine? Let me know what you think in the comment section. All right guys, so this brings us to the end of this video. If you enjoyed me giving you my my pain points for this show, do smash the subscribe button, and don't forget, I'm still looking forward to reading your comments in the comment section. Yeah, let's argue let's argue in the comment box. All right, see you next time. Bye.